More than any other time in history, the United States of America is the preeminent military power on earth. There's been a downward trend in worldwide expenditures for the military for the last 20 years, but the United States has continued to increase its military budget. It now exceeds those of the next 20 nations. The second largest military budget is China's, which is just 1/6 as large as ours. So the only arms race is one that we are having with ourselves. One reason for this enormous expenditure of funds is that 300,000 of American troops are stationed in more than 120 countries, with military bases in 63 of them. And since I left office, American presidents have used these military forces in combat about 50 times in foreign countries. 14 of these have been major engagements. It's good to know that our defenses against a conventional attack are impregnable, and imperative that America remain vigilant against threats from terrorists. I'm particularly proud, as a Navy man, of the Navy SEALs. In addition to supplying our own military forces, America's arms manufacturers and those of our allies now provide 80% of the weapons sales in international market. 80%. We are therefore assumed to be the world's superpower. But as with a human being, a nation's admirable characteristics are not defined by physical prowess. Looking to the future America that you will shape, your graduates, we might ask, what are the characteristics of a superpower? Once again, they might well mirror those of a person. It would include a demonstration, commitment to truth, peace, justice, freedom, human rights, generosity, and utilizing the innate characteristics or talents of every citizen. There is no inherent reason that our powerful country cannot be the international paragon of these virtues. Whenever any people in any country face a challenge or a problem, they should naturally look to Washington as a partner or as a sterling example. Our government should be known as opposed to war, champion of peace, dedicated to the resolution of disputes by peaceful means, and whenever possible, eager to exert our tremendous capability and influence to accomplish this goal for others. At this time, however, many see us as the most warlike of nations. We should be seen as the unswerving champion of freedom, democracy, and human rights, both among our own citizens and within the global community. All too often, though, the United States has been in bed with dictators. For political or economic advantages, yes. In Latin America, in the previous century, and more recently in the Middle East. America should be the focal point around which other nations of all kinds could marshal to combat threats of global warming and to enhance the quality of our common environment. We are now one of the most recalcitrant in dealing with this major challenge. We should be in the forefront of providing humane assistance to people in need, willing to lead other industrialized nations in sharing some of our great wealth with those that are destitute. Americans are surprised to know that we give less than 1/4 of 1% of our gross national product for humanitarian assistance. Another more recent development since I left office is that Americans now have a higher chance to be in prison than any other citizens in the world. 21% higher than Russia, which is second, and more than 5 times as great as the average country in the world. In addition, our people should be blessed with universal health care and a superb system of education. Our government should be fiscally responsible, not loading our children and grandchildren with burdens of our profligate indebtedness. I'm not criticizing or condemning the nation I served, in the military and political office, which I really love, but to outline some of the combined challenges and especially opportunities that you face as future leaders. In achieving all these goals, our great country should strive to cooperate with other nations, most of which share these same fundamental ideals. We should also be willing to communicate with those who differ with us on some issues. Recently, for instance, I've been in Cuba and just got back from North Korea, and in North Korea we won't even talk to them. In achieving all these goals, our great country should strive to cooperate with other nations, most of which share these same ideals. As I said, there would be no real sacrifice in exemplifying these traits. Instead, our own well-being would be enhanced by incurring maximum trust, admiration, and friendship among other peoples. At the same time, all Americans should be united at home in a common commitment to revive and nourish the historical, political, and moral values that we have espoused and for which we have struggled in the past 2.5 centuries. As we constantly explore new ideas about how to use barometers to measure the height of a building, as well as about personal and national issues, we should also always ask ourselves the question that Admiral Rickover proposed to me as a young naval officer. Why not the best? Thank you.